What's up guys, welcome back to another video. So I'm going to give my prediction for Game Week 36 in the Premier League. Fulham against Everton. Fulham are probably the most inconsistent team in the league. They're consistently inconsistent. They'll win a game, then lose a game, then win a couple, then lose a couple. Like, do you know what I mean? They lost against Villa last time out. Everton are in a pretty bad run of form themselves though. They bottled a 2-0 lead at home to Ipswich Town. Already relegated Ipswich Town last time. They've only won 1 of their last 10 games. They've lost 3 of their last 6, although they were on a pretty good run before that. Fulham are still in with an outside shot of Europe. I am making this prediction more out of hope than anything, but I have gone with a 2-1 Everton win. McNeil returned with a goal. That was his first start in many months. Now that he is back, you would hope that Everton will improve. And now that he's had a game under his belt, hopefully he can get some fitness and he can get Everton some good results. Starting off with a win against Fulham. Ipswich against Brentford. Like Fulham, Brentford are still with an outside shot of Europe. They've won all of their last 3 games. They're unbeaten in 5. And they've only lost 2 out of their last 11 games. I cannot have Brentford in Europe, man. This can't happen. Please, Ipswich, save the day. I don't back them to do it though, man. Brentford did win 4-3 at the G2 against Ipswich, although Delap did hit the post right at the end. So there is hope for Ipswich, but they have only won 1 home game all season. So as much as I do hope I'm wrong, and I would give anything to be wrong about this one, I have gone 2-1 Brentford. Vissa's in 2 good form right now, and Buemo as well has been fantastic. Damsgaard, one of the most creative players in the league this season. I do struggle to see Ipswich dealing with that. Hopefully Delap just has the game of his life, scores a hat-trick, and we don't have to worry about seeing Brentford in Europe next season. Southampton against Manchester City. Southampton lost against Leicester. They conceded 2 goals away at Leicester. Leicester hadn't scored in the King Power since December. So in the Premier League, obviously Keefe did get smashed there, but we won't talk about that. Southampton were really poor in that game as well. It really did show why they are statistically the 2nd worst team in Premier League history. They still need a point to avoid becoming the joint worst. Will they get that against Manchester City? No. Manchester City won 4 in a row. They're unbeaten in like 7 now. They're on a very good run. Crunch time Manchester City are just inevitable. Do you know what I mean? They'll win every game, and they're going to win this one comfortably, 4-1. This game did end only 1-0 at the Etihad earlier in the season. Hopefully Doku starts because he's been fantastic lately, 2 assists in his last 2 games. De Bruyne has to start as well because them two have a proper dynamic connection, and it's a criminal, absolutely criminal we didn't see them start together more this season and last season. Pep, you have a lot to answer for, mate, you stupid bold fraud. But yeah, easy win for Man City. Malmö should probably score his first away goal in Manchester City colours as well. Wolves against Brighton. Now, Wolves won a fantastic run of form before their defeat at the Etihad last week, in which they absolutely could have won because they had some huge chances. Brighton have been on an awful run of form since Lewis Dunk came back into the team. They've only won 1 out of their last 7 Premier League games, and their grip on a European spot is fading. These 2 sides drew at the Amex Stadium season when Brighton bottled a 2-0 lead. They bottled a 4v1 opportunity at 2-1 as well right at the end before Wolves went up the other end and scored. I can't believe that actually happened. I do hope Brighton win this, but I don't think they will. I've gone with a 1-1 draw. Wolves will bounce back off their defeat. They've been playing some good stuff, and Brighton defensively are just not great. Lewis Dunk has to be dropped. Bournemouth against Aston Villa, a huge game in the race for Europe. Aston Villa still win with an outside shot at the Champions League. Bournemouth trying to cement 8th place as theirs. If Bournemouth were to win, they would be 4 points behind Villa with 2 games to go. It's unlikely, but you never know. Weirder things have happened. They drew early in the season at Villa Park. Villa have sort of collapsed a little bit. They did beat Fulham 1-0 last time out, but I don't understand why Unai Emery keeps persisting with Marco Asensio, man. Why is he playing him as a 10 when Morgan Rogers is significantly better in that position? Asensio is not creative, he's a goal scorer. So just stick him up front if you want to play him, man. He's just, oh, what? Don't waste Morgan Rogers for a lone player, man. Come on. Villa do really need to get Champions League football as well because they could be in some hot water with PSR. It just doesn't make sense because they made so many big sales over the last year or so. And I know their wages to turnover percentage is mad, but like, how are you going to compete, man? How are teams meant to compete with the traditional Big 6? It's just impossible. And I do just think Unai Emery is kind of running out of gas a little bit. I've gone 2-1 Bournemouth, although Bournemouth at home aren't that good. They're much better away from home. So Villa do have a chance here, but away from home themselves, Villa aren't fantastic. They were on a good run of form away before their loss to Manchester City. But I think that loss to Crystal Palace in the FA Cup may have just taken the last bit of wind out of their sails. Newcastle against Chelsea, huge game for the Champions League spots. It's 5th against 4th. They both have the same amount of points. They both got the exact same goal difference. Chelsea won the game at the bridge between these two sides early in the season, 2-1, although Newcastle had a lot of chances to get something out of that. The Geordies did beat Chelsea on their route to winning the Carabao Cup though. And Chelsea did just play in the Europa Conference League. They used quite a few starters. And I'm bewildered by Maresca's decision to play Reece James, Achiampong and Malo Gusto all in that game. Like, he used all his right backs. So Gusto and Achiampong played 90 minutes. So they're probably tired. Reece James played 70, but he's not going to play more than one game a week because of his injury record, which is the right call to make. But why is he wasting him in that game? I don't know. Which means Caicedo's obviously going to be playing at right back. And that clearly indicates Chelsea's game plan. It means they're going to try and overload the midfield, you know. And without Joel Linton in there for Newcastle, that is definitely something they could do. But Newcastle will just play direct like they did against Liverpool in the cup final. Eddie Howe is a master in these sorts of games. You show him your hand, he will kill you. And after only getting a point against Brighton last time out, Newcastle do need to win this. They've got Arsenal coming away from home. I know they have beaten them 3 times already this season without conceding goal, but that is a tough game. And Chelsea are definitely easy to play against because you just know what you're going to get with them. Although, like I said, Joel Linton's absence is going to be huge. Lewis Miley or Joe Willock, whoever steps in, has some big shoes to fill. But I think Newcastle will let Chelsea have the ball and they will hit them on the break a few times and win 3-1 at St James's Park, cement their place in the top 5 for next season. Hopefully St James's Park is absolutely bouncing. Make this feel like a cup final. Yeah, I want that second leg v Arsenal atmosphere here again, Newcastle. Please beat these pricks. Manchester United against West Ham. It's 17th against 15th. West Ham played against Tottenham last time and drew 1-1. Manchester United just smashed Athletic Bilbao in the Europa League. 4-1. They were 1-0 down after 70 minutes. Mason Mount though, my boy, love that guy. I don't really know why, but I do really like him. He came on off the bench and put on a masterclass. What a player. Hopefully he is now back. 2 absolutely brilliant goals, may I add. Like, Jesus, what a guy. They will probably rotate quite a lot, although they don't have another game coming up. You don't want to have any injuries before that game, and with how quick the turnover is, fatigue will definitely be an issue. West Ham have been so bad this whole season, man. I predicted these lot to be in 7th at the start of the season, up there with one of my worst predictions of all time. But I do think they're going to do the double over Manchester United and win 2-1. I don't really know why. I just have a feeling, man. Jared Bowen is gonna put on a masterclass of a performance. Fulkrug will do something as well. And yeah, 2-1 West Ham. Nottingham Forest against Leicester. East Midlands derby. Nottingham Forest have really let the Champions League spots slip, man. They were doing so well. They were so comfortable. They were in 3rd for so long and now they're in 6th, man. Some of these games they're losing as well. Everton at home, Brentford at home. These aren't games they should be losing. These should be 3 points. Even Crystal Palace away last week, they needed to win that. And Leicester just won their first game after so long. They're already relegated. You know there's nothing more that they'd like to do this season than to end their rivals' hopes for the Champions League. Imagine Leicester City win, Jamie Vardy gets his 200th goal for the club. It would be scenes in Leicester. But Wout Faes does play in their defence and he is one of the worst players I've ever seen. So I think Nottingham Forest are going to win 3-1. They're going to get the Champions League race back on track. They're going to overtake Chelsea after they lose to Newcastle. And then Nottingham Forest will beat Chelsea on the last day of the season. And it will be beautiful. I am going to will this into existence, yeah? Murillo's going to score. I think Chris Wood will get a goal. And probably Morgan Gibbs-White. And for Leicester, I think El Khanous will score. I kind of hope it's not Vardy because I don't want his 200th goal being remembered as a 3-1 loss to Nottingham Forest. You know what I mean? Like, it'd be much better if the goal comes in again. That just doesn't matter at all. Like, I know this game doesn't do anything for Leicester season, but losing to their rivals, you know, it's just not nice. Tottenham against Crystal Palace, London derby. Tottenham, like Manchester United, just won their Europa League second leg and are into the final. Might make another video about the Europa League final, but the Europa League is such a bad competition now, man. Like, Jesus Christ, how have Manchester United and Tottenham got themselves into the final? But Crystal Palace, again, they've been a bit shaky in the Premier League. They've not been very good, although away from home, that hasn't really been the case. I say that, they did hold 5 goals in back-to-back games against Manchester City and Newcastle, but they did draw their last away game at Arsenal. Tottenham will be tired. Palace did beat Tottenham early in the season and that was their first win of the campaign. I don't think they'll win here, but I do think they'll get another 2-2 draw in North London. I just don't think Tottenham will really care about this game. They're in a Europa League final. Do you know what I mean? The Premier League don't matter to them anymore. Although, to be fair, it's kind of the same with Palace with the FA Cup final looming. I weirdly feel like Spurs will score a set piece and Mateta will get a goal as well. I don't know who else will score. Liverpool against Arsenal, the top two go head to head. Unfortunately, with the way the season's gone on, there's not a lot riding on this game. I mean, Arsenal do need to win another couple of games just to secure their place in the Champions League for next season, because they have wobbled a lot in the Premier League. They were also beaten in Paris, although they did play fairly well. Liverpool are now clearly on the beach. They were absolutely awful against Chelsea and they lost. Like, I was so disappointed, man. The one game I actually need Liverpool to win, they just do that, man. Like, come on. I think Arsenal need to win this game, you know. Like, their season has really petered out. On Twitter, at least, you know, they're all calling for Arteta's head, which I do think is a bit, like, I don't want to say ridiculous, because I can understand why some of them want him gone, but like, who are you going to replace him with? You're not going to really get anyone better than him. And he is a very good manager. They drew 2-2 early in the season at the Emirates, although Arsenal were robbed in that game. And I do think, as long as there are no dubious calls, Arsenal will win this one 2-1. I don't really know why. Like, Liverpool at home are very good, but I just have a feeling, I don't know, man. Arsenal will give them a guard of honour and then just want to kill them. Do you know what I mean? It's going to be one of those games. I mean, this game doesn't matter at all for Liverpool. Like, they've won the league. It doesn't matter, man. But Arsenal have to win. And that is why I'm going to back them to do it. Doesn't predict this week. Let me know what you think in the comments down below, and I'll see you soon for another video.